Welcome, Earthlings, to the Disgruntled Traveler podcast. Do you like bedtime stories? I do. And I've got a good one for you today. And this story takes place in a place called Penang. The name on this fan that I have just presented to you, where I bought it. Where is Penang? Penang, if you're not familiar, is an island off the coast of the country Malaysia. Okay. So I was hanging out in a shared condo in Malaysia. I rented for a month. I don't know if I really want to do it justice and call it a shared condo. It was more like a two-story house. Okay. So you had the ground floor, the living room, there was like a half kitchen. And then where everybody else rented, they had 5 rooms in this house. So there was the second level, which was 2 rooms. I had one of them. And then there was the third level, which had 2 rooms. Okay. There was one room on the very bottom level, which was more like people who come in for a couple days. You know, they come in and go in, so they get the bottom room. Anyway, so that just gives you context of where I'm at. Now, there are 2 kitchens, okay? One kitchen, but you can't cook in this kitchen, but there's a microwave. But there's one kitchen inside the house where the shared living room is. And then there's a cooking area. I don't really call it a kitchen, but it's like outside. It's near, not really a garage area, but it's an open patio area. And that's where the washing machine is, where you hang your clothes and all that stuff. And then they have like a little square sink. Okay. So you can picture the square sink. So, anywho, everybody takes turns cooking their own meals if you decide to cook. I'm there for a month. I always do my own cooking. So, I go and buy my meat and my produce up at they call it a wet market in Malaysia. So I went up there and I got my food. And, for a couple weeks, everything was cool. The owners are Asian. Oh, I mean, it makes sense, right? I'm in Malaysia. There are actually a lot of Chinese immigrants they come from China and they settle in Penang. And I don't want to particularly say that these people are Chinese because I don't know. I did not ask them if they were from China. I have no idea. But you can definitely tell they're Asian, okay? Because I know in one of my past stories, I had somebody write into me. It was that about the creepy Indian man. If you watched it or listened to it on Spotify, somebody wrote into me. I guess they got offended because I said India accent. And he was like, how do you know this guy wasn't from Bangladesh or Sri Lanka? And I'm thinking to myself, I don't know. It's not like the guy told me where he was from. I'm just basing it on my own American, goggles that they give you and based on an accent that I understand from, I don't know, TV or whatever. If it sounds like an Indian accent, it's an Indian accent. If it sounds Chinese, I use that sort of as a broad statement for all Asians. And I know that's going to piss somebody off out there. I'm sorry, but let's face it, when you hear an American speaking, and I will circle back to the story, but when you hear an American, let's say you're from India or you're from China, and you hear me speaking to somebody else from America, and you'll be like, oh, those Americans. But yeah, I could be, which I am, I'm from the south part of the United States, and I have a different type of accent than somebody who lives in the northern part of the United States, like say from New York or New Jersey, So to group us all together, yeah, we are all Americans, but we have different dialects and different accents from different parts of the country. Okay, so I'm getting off track. Anyway, they were Asian. So I will try to appease and make all the Asians happy out there. These people were Asian. I do not know if they were Chinese. So I will not say they're from China. Okay, I won't say they're Chinese. So here's what happened. So I'm cooking, everything's cool for about 2 weeks, right? I'm doing the same thing that I've always done. I cook. When I get done using a pan, I put water in the pan. I put it in the sink to let it soak for no more than maybe 5 to 10 minutes, as long as it takes for me to eat my dinner. Then I come back to wash my plate and wash the pan out, and I put the pan back for the next person, right? So anyway, well, one particular evening, the Mrs. Asian owner of the place evidently wasn't happy that I left a dirty, wet pan in her sink outside. So after I got done eating, she literally came up to me and she says, "Did you leave that dirty pan in my sink?" And I was like, I'm the only one there, so what am I going to say? No. Everybody else was gone. I was like, yeah, it was me. I just made dinner and I just ate and I was just going to clean up. She was, no, 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 no. However they do in their Asian accent. You must clean after yourself immediately. Immediately, you must. You cannot leave a dirty pan in that sink. You must clean it immediately after you cook. Damn. Wait a minute. I was like, okay. And then she went even further. This is her reasoning behind it. She goes, somebody also told me that you've been doing this and that hinders them from cooking. They can't use that pan to cook because you leave it in the sink dirty. And then they have to wait until you come back to clean the pan. So I'm thinking, I said, no, wait a minute here. Wait. This does not make any sense. She is making this shit up. And I'm going to tell you why she's making this shit up. And I pointed this out to her. I was like, excuse me. I don't mean to be rude, but I am going to point this out to you. Number one, you have more than one pan under the hot plates, because there's like burners. There's two burners, right? Two burners. Gas, turn them on, turn them off. Okay, I may have one dirty pan in the sink, but you've got two other pans under the burners that anybody can come in and use behind me. Okay, that's number one. Number two, the reason I leave a dirty pan with water in the sink is because I cannot clean it properly immediately after I cook. It's food, there's food sticking all on the bottom of the pan, and it makes it very difficult to scrub and clean it up. And I was like, besides, then my food gets cold if I'm trying to scrub this pan immediately, my food is going to get cold. So now I got to go nuke it in the microwave, when all it's going to take me is maybe 10 minutes tops to eat. And I always come back and I clean the pan when I clean the dish. And I pointed that out to her. I said, that's never been a problem before. And she's like, oh, you're supposed to clean it out right away. Like, she's trying to just like skirt away from it. So I'm like, okay. So you want me to clean this pan immediately after I cook? All right. So just to appease her, because she is the Airbnb host, I didn't want to piss her off because I still had 2 more weeks to go, right? So I was like, okay, I'll do it. But what I say and what I do are 2 different things, okay? Because just because you happen to stop by the house every now and then, I know when you leave. So what I can do is I can wait to cook after you're gone, or I can cook before you show up, leave the pan in there. Even though other people are in the house, I know damn well nobody complained. There was this one woman I was really tight with. I mean, she was cool. And I don't mean in a sexual way. Okay, don't get excited, guys. I'm talking about like we connected, we were good friends. It wasn't her bitching. There was an older guy in there too. He had problems with his foot. He couldn't even get down from the third floor. It wasn't him cooking. And then the people that come and go on the bottom level, they don't cook at all. They're only there for a couple days. You know what I mean? They're not cooking. So really it was only the three of us. And I knew damn well nobody complained. It was just that Asian host who just, I guess, got a stick up her ass because she didn't like seeing a dirty dish in her sink. I don't know. Anyway, so when she wasn't around, the end of the story, the last 2 weeks were peaceful, even though it was like really walking on eggshells when she was in the house because she was just so rude about that situation. But when she wasn't around, I would literally just leave the pan in the sink, and then I'd come back after I ate and I'd scrub it out, put it all away nice and neat before she show up. But yeah, that really pissed me off. So remember, I am the disgruntled traveler.